What's going on, my Second Amendment family? Welcome to another episode of DNA Shots Fired, where if you ain't shooting your shot, you ain't got a shot. So today I want to discuss with you all a weapon that's not getting a lot of attention in the YouTube community. I mean, there's videos out there, but they're few and far in between. So I kind of want to give you an analysis, somewhat of a review, let you know what I think of the weapon, if I like or dislike it, how I pretty much stole it from my local gun store. So stay tuned. We'll talk about it. Okay, so we're back, family. But before we dive into this video, if you are a staunch proponent of the Second Amendment and you believe in our constitutional right to keep and bear arms, go ahead and smash down on that like and subscribe button. Show these crooked politicians and these lawmakers that we will not stand for anyone infringing upon our constitutional right to keep and bear arms, that we love America and we love our Constitution. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this video. So the weapon I'll be discussing with you all today is the FNS 40C by FNH. This is a striker-fired polymer weapon made by FNH. FNH, Fabrique Nationale Herstel, Herstel is the small city located in Belgium that's been manufacturing these weapons since 1889. Yes, you heard me correctly, since 1889. That's 134 years to be exact. I mean, what an amazing accomplishment. And I think that speaks to the level of quality that goes into these guns, that they would be around for that long. So just a little backstory on this particular weapon. FNS is the American series of these pistols that are being manufactured, or these weapons that are being manufactured in Fredericksburg, Virginia. And so I pretty much got this weapon. How I acquired it was through consignment. And so this is a used weapon. And I'm pretty much going to do an unboxing for you guys because everything that came new with this pistol is pretty much still in this case as a used weapon. So let's go ahead and crack this bad boy open. And I'll just kind of show you, give you a peek inside of what we're dealing with. Look at that. And so just a backstory on this weapon. But before we jump into this gun is loaded. Well, not really, but we treat all guns as though they're loaded. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a peek inside there, show you that the gun is not really loaded. The magazine is empty. So this gun is safe for handling. So I live in the lovely and beautiful state of California, where we have what we call a gun roster. For those of you who are unfamiliar with what a gun roster is a list of certified weapons that must meet a level of requirement in order for it to be sold legally in the state of California. I believe there are a few other states that have a roster, Massachusetts, Maryland, and Washington, D.C. Now, we have some great weapons on the roster, but it leaves a lot to be desired. There's just a lot of weapons that we can't get our hands on. And unfortunately, this is one of those weapons. So there's only two ways that you can get a gun off roster in the state of California. That's by way of law enforcement or on consignment. And I fall into the latter category. Now, what these sellers do is when they have a gun like this that's off roster that they want to sell to consumers, they will jack the price up exponentially. It's price gouging. There's no other way to put it, but they know that people will pay astronomical prices for guns like this because they're really hard to get and they're rare. And so unfortunately, you have a lot of that going on. Now, outside of California and some of these other tyrannical states that have these ridiculous laws, this gun brand new goes anywhere from $350 all the way up to $529. Now, like I said, a gun like this off roster in California will start off at about $800. I saw an old listing on Cal Guns. They were asking $1,000 for this gun. And this is a gun chambered in .40 caliber, $1,000. I'm gonna tell you right now, family, I paid nowhere near $1,000 for this gun. I paid nowhere near $800 for this gun. I paid nowhere near $700 for this gun. Like I said, it was such an amazing price point that my gun store had on this gun. There was no way I was leaving that gun store without this weapon. And that's why it's in my possession now. And so let's go ahead and talk about some of the contents of what came with this gun. So You do have a user's manual. Everything you need to know about this gun will be in this user's manual. It also comes with the locking device. If you have children at home, you want to keep your gun locked up, it comes with that. A lot of these guns do. It comes with 3 magazines, 2 10-round magazines and 1 14-round magazine. But because I live in the state of California and want to remain compliant, all my magazines are 10-round magazines. And these come with the steel body, so really sturdy, nicely built magazines. One of the things I love about the 3rd magazine is it has a pinky extension. And so one thing I hate about not having a pinky extension is I don't like my pinky hanging out by itself, right? I want it up here with the rest of the fellas because together we're stronger and it makes for a better grip. And so I love this so much. I'm thinking about adding this pinky extension to the rest of my magazines so that I have that nice feature. Okay, so it also comes with an additional back strap. This particular gun came with just 1 additional. I know they also ship with 2, and it's possible that because this gun is used that it may just be missing one of the back straps, but I think this is accurate because, like I said, they ship with 1 additional and they also ship with 2 additionals. So that's pretty much it for the contents. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the features of this gun. So as you can see on the front of the slide and at the rear of the slide, you have these serrations. Okay, can you see that? And it's just really nice for doing a press check or racking your slide. You get a really good, nice grip on your weapon when you're doing that. It also comes with the steel sights. Now, these aren't night sights, but they are nice sights. Okay, and so one thing I love about these steel sights is that, I don't know if you can see on camera, but the front dot is a lot larger than the 2 at the back. And that's important because all we're trying to do is create a window to put that front dot on to get on target. So it just makes for faster target acquisition. And so with these 2 dots being a lot smaller than this front one, it doesn't take any, it doesn't distract away from the front dot. So this kind of makes, this front dot kind of makes these 2 back here superfluous. And that's why you have people that will black out their rear sight because they don't want to take any, they don't want to distract away from that front sight and putting that front sight on target. So that's a really nice feature of this gun. It does come with the Picatinny rail, so you can add, you know, accessories if you like. Just really nice features. And it does have a loaded chamber indicator that's next to the ejection port, if you can see that, right? That's the first time I've seen it on the side of the gun like that. Normally I'm used to seeing it on the top like you see on this Springfield XD 9 subcompact. Can you see how it's on the top flush with the slide of the gun? I mean, it's just, let me go ahead and move this, get some better lighting here so you guys can see that. See that? It's just flush with the top of the slide. Love that. Okay, and so also this gun has a mag release and a slide stop, as most guns do, but it's on both sides, so it's ambidextrous. This gun also, or some of these guns are shipping with manual safeties. This particular gun doesn't have a manual safety, but they do come with the manual safety, and that will also be ambidextrous. So just great features of the gun. It does have this stippling on the trigger guard there. Let me see. Can you see that? Yeah, see how they got that little stippling right there? Just really nice stippling on the trigger guard. But what I really like most is the grip. Can you see that? That stippling on the grip. It's just really, really nice when you're trying to grab, when you go to grab onto your gun and you're just really, really gripping it. It feels like your gun is gripping you back. And it's kind of like giving somebody a hug and they hug you back. Isn't that a wonderful feeling? It's being reciprocated. And because your gun, it makes you feel one with your gun, right? And your gun is an extension of you. So it just feels so good to feel like your gun is gripping you back when you go to grip it. Now, it's also important because this gun is chambered in .40 caliber, so you're going to get some recoil, and you want to make sure you have a really nice grip on that gun because you don't want that gun going flying out of your hand when you're shooting it. So love the stippling on this gun. It's just the right amount for me personally, and so that's just another great feature that I welcome on a gun like this. Now, we also have, let's talk about the trigger system. The trigger system is an articulating trigger. So as you can see, there's a hinge right there, okay? And that hinge has well, this trigger has a safety mechanism built into it. I kind of liken it to the M&P Shields trigger system. Very, very similar, right? And so if you pull on that trigger above that hinge, that safety is going to come in contact with the frame of this gun. And that's going to keep you from disengaging that safety. And I'll give you a demonstration of what that looks like. So you want to pull on that trigger below that hinge to disengage that safety, and that'll allow you to fire your gun. Now the trigger comes in a weight of 5.5 to 7.7 pounds of pull force. Now that's pretty hefty, but it's not like you got to go lift weights in order to be able to fire this gun. Now the only way I can see it being an issue is like if you're in a gun battle and there's a bunch of rounds being exchanged over hundreds of rounds, then I can see where fatigue can set up in your finger because it is a pretty hefty trigger pull. But if you just need to use it for everyday self-defense and you find yourself in a situation where you have to defend yourself, God forbid, it's not going to be a problem if you have to fire off a few rounds. It just isn't. It's not the best trigger system out there, but it's not the worst. I've shot a lot of guns, and this is one of the better trigger systems. I actually love it. I don't mind the safeties in my guns. I'm all for safety as long as you don't overdo it, right? And so I'll give you a demonstration of what the trigger pull looks like. So we'll go ahead and get that gun pointed in a safe direction. And as you can see that little piece of plastic moving in and out? That's disengaging the safety. And so we're gonna go ahead and pull that. There you have the take up, and we're already at the wall. Let's do it again. Take up, there's the wall, and then the break. Nice, crisp break. Love it. Let's go ahead and reset it. Okay, there's the reset. We're already at the wall, and then the break. Nice, crisp trigger pull. And what's being communicated back to me is the level of quality that went into this gun. I mean, it's like I said, it's just a really nice, strong, sturdy trigger pull. And I was kind of reading some reviews online. And one of the reviews I came across when it came to this gun and its trigger pull, they said that the gun had a gritty trigger pull, and they used a word that I've never heard before. They said that it was spoinky. I've never heard of the word spoinky before. Funny sounding word. Maybe I experienced it because I don't know what it is, but I doubt it, right? Because the trigger feels really, really good to me. I don't know if they just had a bad, just got a bad gun, or they just needed to oil the inner working components of their gun, maybe the trigger system. I'm not sure, but I didn't experience any of the gritty feeling that people described or the spoinkiness of this gun. So I don't know, fam. It's just really weird to me, but there's that in terms of the features. Like I said, really, really nice features of this gun. I think I covered pretty much all the features that it has. Let's talk about some of the dimensions now. This gun comes in an overall length of 6.7 inches, a height of 5.2 inches, and a width of 1.35 inches. And the overall weight with an empty magazine is going to be 25.8 ounces. So there you have it for the dimensions. I want to juxtapose this against my XD9 Springfield subcompact. But before we do that, this gun is loaded. Well, not really, but we treat all guns as though they're loaded. So I'll go ahead and give you a peek inside, show you that the magazine is empty and that this gun is safe for handling. So as you can see, as I hold these side by side, the FNS 40C is just slightly under an inch longer than the XD9 subcompact by Springfield. And as you can see, the width is going to be slightly thicker on the 40 FNS. The XD9 subcompact by Springfield comes in an overall width of 1.2 inches. So just give you an idea what that looks like. I also want to demonstrate for you all the loaded chamber indicator, but I can't do it on this gun because I don't have any dummy rounds that are 40 caliber. So we'll go ahead and do it on the XD9 subcompact, and let's go ahead and get that. So as you can see, you see how that's flush with the slide right there? See that? Okay, we're gonna go ahead and load our dummy round. This is the snap cap. I'm gonna load that into our XD9 subcompact just to give you a demonstration and general idea of what it looks like. So you can see that it's still flush. Now as I load around into the chamber, can y'all see that? How that pops up? See, it's right there. It's just popped up. That's letting you know that you do have a live round in the chamber. Now, this is something that you don't want to solely rely upon. You always want to double check that your gun is empty. Even if that indicator is flush with the slide, you definitely want to make sure that, because these are working, moving parts that can malfunction in your gun. And so you just want to make sure, double check, you know, when it comes to things like that. So it's very similar on this gun, the operation of that loaded chamber indicator. This loaded chamber indicator is going to pop out ever so slightly. And there's a little red mark on the top that's going to catch your eye to let you know that this gun has a live round in the chamber. Okay. Again, you don't want to solely rely on that. Now, like I said, it pops out ever so slightly. Every feature on this gun is anti-snag, so you don't have to worry about this snagging on your clothing or on your holster or anything like that. It's just a really nice system. Now, I do want to talk about why this gun it's possible that this gun, why it probably didn't make the gun roster. And it's because because everything else, it seems like it has in order for it to get on the roster, except it doesn't have a mag disconnect or a mag safety disconnect, right? And so what that is if this magazine, let's say you have a round in the chamber, right? And this magazine becomes separate from the gun, you would not be able to fire that last round that's in the chamber. And I'll tell you why that is. I believe that's a safety feature. Remember I talked about I'm all for safety as long as they don't overdo it. Well, it's overdoing it, family, because that's one of those features, safety features, that can actually get you killed. Now, let's say you're in a gun battle, and hopefully you never are, but let's say you're in a gun battle and your magazine's flopping around in there like that, and all of a sudden it falls out and you have one round in the chamber and your life depends on that one round in the chamber. Well, this gun is only as good as how fast you can get this magazine back into the gun and fire your last round, or how hard you can throw this at the person that's shooting at you. And so it's just one of those dumb features that I absolutely hate when it comes to California and their dumb gun laws. So, and the only people that really lose out is people like us law-abiding citizens, because the criminals, they're not going to abide by those laws, and that's always going to give them an advantage over people like us. So that's the main reason why this gun probably didn't make the roster, actually. And so that's pretty sad, because it is a beautiful weapon. It's a great weapon that I think should have made the roster. Now, I do want to go ahead and do a field strip of this gun, just show you how easy that is, and that'll pretty much conclude this video. So let's go ahead and do that. So what you're going to do is you're going to slide the slide rearward. Okay, lock it into place like that. And then you have this takedown lever over here on the other side, and you're just going to push that down in a clockwise position and leave that at a 90-degree position. Okay, now you're going to release the slide. Okay, now you see how the slide is not flush with the back of the frame, and so you're going to line that up, right? You're going to line that up, and that's going to allow you to pull the trigger. The trigger pull is going to release that slide from the frame. So you pull that trigger like that, and it just slides off. Really, really easy, really simple. And then there's the recoil spring that just pops out like that, and then you just pull up and out on the barrel, and it's that simple. And then we'll go ahead and put that back in like that. And there it is, family. And so you're just going to line this back up with the slide and move that rearward, lock it in place so that you can put that takedown lever back in its normal position. And then you're just going to release the slide, and it's back like it was before. Very, very simple. So I know you all are waiting for the crescendo of this video, and that's what it can do on the range. So I'll see you on the range, family. Peace and love. A couple of things I forgot to mention. So before we get out on the range, family, I wanted to talk about the bore axis on this gun. As you can see, it's a rather low bore axis, and what that's going to help with is the absorption or the energy of that recoil being sent evenly throughout your hand, wrist, and into your elbow for better stabilization when getting off shots. And that's very similar to what you would see on the Glock. Here we have the Glock 17. As you can see, the Glock 17 has a bore axis slightly lower than the FNS 40C by 1 to 2 centimeters. So that's pretty much it. One more thing, the barrel length on this FNS 40C comes in at about 3.6 inches. Now we'll see you on the range, family. Peace and love. All right, family, so we're back out at the range. It's a beautiful day. I'm gonna show you what the FNS 40C can do in target practice. Let's get it. All right, family, so we're about 15 yards out. I'm gonna see if I can get on target. It's gonna be my first time really shooting this gun, so let's see what we can do. All right, family, it looks like I missed 2 shots, but there you have it, the FNS 40C, family. What a beautiful gun. I love it. It's accurate, and it does the job. Thanks for tuning in on another episode of DNA Shots Fired. If you're loving the content, please hit the like and subscribe button. Peace and love, family.